I think America's greatest asset is American culture and the fact that we're conquering the world not through force of arms because people consume our products. And it's very, very hard to hate a country if you listen to their music and watch their shows and read their books. So I think that is the best way to have kind of colonialism, for lack of a better term.
It's social colonialism.
It's social colonialism, right.
It's what I refer to as American soft power, right?
But it's the best.
It's by far the best.
It works.
Let's go.
Welcome to Citizen. We have a special guest today, Michael Malice. You blow up New York. Are you voting for Mamdani? Is that what that means?
I made these shirts. I was going to convert them into a Mamdani shirt. I
You
thought
should.
that I was putting on
Just put his face in the background of that mushroom cloud. That
or a thumbs up.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing phenomenal. How about yourself?
Good. How do you like Texas so far?
I love Texas. It was really funny. I was living here for a week, and then I started opening all my tweets with "as a Texan," and people were getting so angry as if like they didn't realize it was a joke.
So what about the climate? Because you come from Russia originally,
Sure.
then to New York,
Right.
But New York gets quite people. I don't know. Southerners that haven't traveled much don't understand that. Not yet, but in about a month. For about a month, New York is balmy and it sucks. It's like fucking. I don't understand how
balmy is good.
Yeah, I mean it is. I like it. Yeah.
No. So okay, I was just in New York last week.
Yeah.
And Austin is considered, the drum roll please, the sweatiest city in America.
It is.
New York was worse because here's why. I forgot, because it'd been a year at this point. When you're in that subway and it's humid outside and there's no air circulation, I don't remember how I did it without passing out. I'm standing there and it's like some kind of fear factor thing.
Yeah.
Because you can't breathe. You don't know how long you're going to be there. And it's just, you start getting lightheaded. And you don't have that here because you're just walking from your car to the house.
Yeah.
So it's worse in some contexts.
And in New York isn't the same with air conditioning like Texas is.
That's right.
Texas,
yes.
It's 110 degrees outside and you walk into a place and it's 70. Which is a immediate 40-degree difference. And you're like, what the fuck? Your body doesn't know how to handle that shit.
Right.
I don't think that's a good idea. I love my house cold. If it's during the wintertime, it's at like 69, right?
Right.
But in the summer, it's like 74 because if I'm going in and out. If I'm just staying inside all day, I'll turn it lower.
Right.
But if I'm in and out all day, it's like you can't go from 100 to 70 all day.
That's funny that you say that. So my house, I have a robot to set the temperature to the exact degree I want it.
Is it Elon's? What is it?
It's Presidio.
Oh yeah, I've got Presidio. Yeah.
So
I have mine hooked up to my Ring stuff, so I can just
So I
that.
don't know. I don't have any sunlight in my house. I hate it. I don't want to fade my cool stuff. So I literally have no idea what temperature is outside. So the thing is, let's like you said, like I'll leave, and as a New Yorker, I like walking around, and if it's sunny in my head, I still think, oh, it's sunny weather. That means I can walk. And then you go 2 blocks, and you're like, wait a minute, no, I'm not in New York anymore. But when I get home, I feel like a dog because I can't cool off. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, this is how these dogs are sitting there for like an hour trying to recalibrate after you walk outside.
Yeah, it's rough. No pun intended, obviously. But the New York subway is underwater now, so it's even worse.
What do you mean
Did you
it's
see it? It
underwater?
flooded the other day.
No.
I don't know which parts, but part of it like flooded.
That happens not infrequently, I think.
Yeah, anytime there's flash floods around there, it's going to happen. So let's go back into your history a little bit. You were born in what is now Ukraine.
Uh-huh.
What part?
Western Ukraine, Lviv. Or
Lviv,
Lvov,
okay.
Depending if you're Russian or Ukrainian.
Well, back then there was no difference, right?
No.
Which is
Boy, you stepped in it.
let's do it. I mean, you stepped in it with a fucking cab driver a couple of weeks ago, didn't you?
That's true. So I don't care. Like I'm here. I'm not there. Right?
Yeah.
I have no kind of allegiance to either of these peoples. But the Ukrainians were under Russian rule for decades. And the Holodomor, where millions of them were starved to death, they do not think very highly of Russia at all. So if you say Ukraine or the Ukraine or Lviv or Lvov, you're like immediately taking sides, and it's a huge deal for them.
That's I get it. But isn't Ukraine the original seat of the Russian Empire, the Russian people, the Rus people?
Sure.
Like in the 7th century or something like that, or 8th maybe, I don't remember.
Sure, and technically we should be Mexico right now, but like...
Nah, they've lost.
What do you mean?
Mexico, we kicked the shit out of
Yeah.
them.
So and the Russians kicked the shit out of Ukrainians.
Well, there you go.
Well,
So what the fuck are we debating then?
I'm not debating shit. I'm explaining. Like this is not. I have no horse in this race. I am here.
But there is. You grew up in Lviv.
No, I grew up in Brooklyn.
Well, you were born there.
Yeah.
At what age? When
2.
2. So you don't remember any of that.
No, not at all.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you remember? Cold soups, I guess. I don't know.
We had cold. No, we had warm soup. You could warm up the soup. I had plenty of Russian soup as a kid, though.
I think that gazpacho is a prank.
I don't think I've ever had gazpacho.
It's actually not bad.
Okay.
Like there's different iterations of it that are pretty good, but I think it's kind of a prank. It's almost like going hiking. It's like, well, why did we turn this thing that we used to have to do to stay alive into a fucking sport?
Do you know?
Or
I may have had it
recreational.
once. Do you know who? You know that the soup Nazi was a real guy.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So did you ever go to his stand?
No, I never went. No, but
It's legit.
yeah.
And then
is it still there?
No, and they franchised. So it was did a few stores, and I know he served gazpacho, and I don't know if I had something with little gourds in it once. Is that no? It was warm, so it wasn't gazpacho.
No.
It was vegetable soup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the best one I think I had was like butternut squash blended.
That's the one I had.
And it had some kind of cream and then some kind of green shit dripped into it. It was really good.
Yeah.
Right?
It had
But
little squashes in it.
Yeah, it was really good. But I don't know. Who fucking knows, man? So you grew up primarily in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Primarily. No, entirely in Brooklyn.
Entirely in Brooklyn, yes.
1
What
to
are you
2.
reading over there?
Huh?
What are you looking at over there?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at a fucking, well, it's a timer, but there's a fly flying around. It's pissing me off.
Flies are a sign of evil.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's why I brought these guns. Yeah, so you grew up in Brooklyn. What was that like back in the day? It's changed a lot, obviously, but...
It makes me very, very angry and very, very sad to go back to New York to see all the things that I grew up with and loved, and things that have been there way before me, not just nostalgia, been destroyed as a result of COVID and these policies, and I will never forgive these people for it. The pizzeria where John Travolta eats at the very beginning of Saturday Night Fever, which I used to eat at all the time as a kid, just closed last year. It's been around since the 40s, 50s, I don't even know. So all those old school Brooklyn pizzerias are closing. I think Del Mar in Staten Island, in Sheepshead Bay is still around. DeFaro's, which everyone considers the best. The guy's gotten senile and the pizza's burnt now because I went there and it was like inedible. It's really, it's also becoming losing its identity. It's becoming much more mall-like. Williamsburg, which was the big hipster neighborhood for many, many years, where hipsterism kind of basically started. Vice came out of there. They're just opening up an Hermes store now. I mean, if you told me 20 years ago...
Well, they built that... isn't the new Brooklyn Nets stadium somewhere nearby, too?
No, that stadium is by Atlantic Center, by Park Slope.
Okay. Park Slope.
Yeah, but, this was hipster central. And you were there wearing vintage clothes and, asymmetrical haircuts, and maybe people like it, maybe people don't, but it had an identity. And now it's just become like an adjunct of, Wall Street hell, so it's just awful.
Well, some of that's happened here too. Like,
oh, sure.
Austin has been
South Congress.
Keep Austin weird, and South Congress was the primary version of that for a very long time, right?
Not anymore. Now it's like Soho.
Yeah, right. So it's like, well, it wasn't just commercialism. It was like Keep Austin Weird turned into a political statement, and that's never what it was before. Before it was like do whatever the fuck you want.
Right? Yeah.
We had like a 20-minute conversation with McConaughey about this one time when he was promoting green lights a couple of years ago. He was like, "Yeah, that Keep Austin Weird thing was never about politics. It was just like, just come here and be yourself.
Yeah.
And we're all going to get along. It was a good place to live, and it's not a bad place to live now, frankly, but that's not the case." So it's like a mix between, we always talk about, recently anyways, horseshoe theory with people on the left and right, but it's mostly about extremism, right? Like you come to the same dumbass opinion if you stick around long enough on that horseshoe. But there's something with liberal women and commercialism in horseshoe theory as well, where your fundamental principles that you say you believe in are completely incongruous with this commercialism that you're participating in.
Sure.
But it's like that's more important to you than a lot of stuff is, right? Like it's certainly your principles. So this stuff happens a lot. And
Have you ever talked to Rob Henderson?
No.
So Rob Henderson was like 20 foster homes, and then he went to the military, and then he ended up at Harvard or Yale, I don't remember. And he had a memoir, and he came up with the idea of luxury beliefs, which are beliefs you have to connote. You know, a lot of times
I've heard the phrase.
Yeah, if you have like a fancy handbag or a fancy like Canadian Goose, I think is the brand of coat. It doesn't look expensive, but people who know that label know, okay, you're signifying wealth. Or you and I wouldn't know these handbags, but a woman would know, okay, 30, what's Birkin, something like that.
I have no idea.
It's like there's like $50,000 handbags, but they look normal. Like
you buy a car for that.
Right, but that's the point. It's a conspicuous consumption, right? So these beliefs go into that vein where it's like something that I won't have to pay the cost of, like, oh, defund the police. Like I could afford a bodyguard. The poor people are going to get screwed, but I get to look like a good person and, you know, exalt in my luxury.
And there must be some relationship between that and the not in my backyard attitude.
Oh, right? That's exactly right. NIMBY, yeah.
Yeah, so interesting.
So I call them awfuls, affluent white female liberals, and they're really the kind of driver of everything that's horrific in cities.
Yeah, that's not great. I mean, we can talk about leadership and polarity and sexuality and shit like that, but women are not meant to be in charge of things.
So there's a book called Why Men Rule. Have you ever read it? And the premise, he was originally going to call it, no, he had another name for it originally. And his point was, when I was first writing the book, if I called it Why Men Rule, people would think it's why this group of men rule as opposed to that group of men. And now he's like, he changed it. That was the second title, I forget the first title. And his point is, people understand it's like, why is it that men are rulers and not females? And he goes, there's never been a matriarchal society. Ever. So he goes through
even Victorian England was not matriarchal.
No, it's never.
Like the barons ran that country while she was meddling with things behind the scenes.
So he's like, if something is universal, it's got to be immutable, or something's going on there. So, and there's some counterexamples people make up, and he breaks them down. Like, listen, if you have like 12 women are the ones picking the chief is still the one who's the ruler. It's just, there's like the electoral college. You and I can't name any members of the electoral college. We can name members of Congress who are the ones making decisions. So it's very interesting in that regard that humanity is patriarchal by nature and through all time and through all societies.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why that's such a. I don't understand why that's such a weird thing for people to get their arms around.
You do understand.
I don't though, because like you don't spend any amount of your time clamoring publicly that it's not fair that you're the height you are and don't play in the NBA.
That's true.
Right? Because that's fucking retarded.
Right.
And it's not just you. Nobody does that. There are no shorter people or even people my height that are whining they can't play in the NBA because they're my height. Right. It's like you just live your life.
Right.
Right. So what the fuck?
Yeah, because of feminism. What do you mean?
I know, but that's stupid. Like, how did that ever? It's such a bad idea, right? It's such a bad idea. How did that take hold so greatly? I don't understand how it got so popular. Not just about, well, I guess I kind of do in some regards on the back end, but the front end. I'm sure you know this. A lot of the political social movements over time have been driven by men trying to take advantage of women's temperance. Right?
Sure.
So, what's his nuts? God damn it, I can't remember his name. He was a big Irish gangster in New York back in the day that helped get prohibition installed in the United States, right? But one of the main cutouts he was using to do the marketing for it was this women's temperance movement.
That's right.
Oh, you got to stop drinking.
And the Anti-Saloon League,
Yeah. And then Augustus did the same thing, right? When he took over Rome, after the Third Triumvirate collapsed and he took over, Lepidus goes away, Anthony kills himself. He instills this new proper Roman woman. This is who you were meant to be, right? And it was mostly to control people, right? It was to keep crime down in the shipping ports because of all the prostitution and stuff like that. This has happened a lot over time, but this one didn't seem like men pushing it at the beginning.
The temperance?
Yeah,
temperance
feminism in general.
No, feminism, it was not men pushing it at all. It was very much because women had the vote for 40 years at that point, and then it's like, okay, now we can make women into like a constituency. That wasn't a thing really before, because more people were married and you kind of got along with your married voted similar to your husband. But I think it was Betty Friedan with the feminine mystique was at 66 or 68 where that became a thing where women kind of were encouraged to have their own identity, which is not entirely a bad idea.
No, I mean, so Abigail Adams is one of my favorite historical characters, John Adams' wife.
Okay.
Because John Adams was just a petulant little turd.
I hate him.
He's the worst. He's probably one of the worst presidents we had because he didn't do anything except for like sign some pretty bad legislation and just get rolled over. He was weak as shit.
I gave a talk at Clemson, and one of the professors was like American history was his forte, and Adams was his favorite founding father. And I'm sitting there, it's like someone telling me like in our lifetime the best president was George H.W. Bush. I can't even wrap my head around how you're going to get there.
No, John Quincy was a pretty good president.
Sure, but
Adams himself.
But apparently, Adams was like the first one to argue for a war, and his fingerprints are everywhere. But he was a bitch.
Yeah, he never did anything.
I'm a Hamiltonian, so like for me, Adams is just like the worst.
Well, Hamilton was pretty rough too. To be
How?
honest.
No, not at all.
Well, he tried to lead an insurrection against the government.
That's Aaron Burr.
No. Alexander Hamilton tried to get all the generals of the Revolutionary Army to march on Philly on Congress and demand payment. Otherwise, he was going to break up the Union and all this shit.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, absolutely happened.
Look this up.
I don't have to look it up.
Are you talking about the Whiskey Rebellion?
No. This never happened. So there's a letter. It's in the.
This never happened.
It's in the National Archives.
Okay.
There's a letter that Hamilton wrote to George Washington that outlined we're going to do this, and this, and it never happened. Because George Washington just ignored him, which is effectively saying, no, I'm not going to support that, right?
Wait. So break this down for me. I've never heard of this. Pull it up. I have a piece of Alexander Hamilton's hair in my house.
That's pretty fun. Actually, you got a lot of weird shit, don't you?
I do.
Actually, rival Thomas Jefferson. I'm going to have to find it. Hold on.
Well, just paraphrase it. So Hamilton writes to Washington. He goes, if this convention doesn't go through, we're going to make a coup.
Let's see. Right. Washington about state of the Continental Army need for a strong central government, blah, blah, blah. Importance of addressing the Army's grievances. I'm going to have to find the actual letter because I don't want to paraphrase it incorrectly.
Okay.
He wrote a letter. Let's see. Discussed the Army's resolutions expressing their expectation that Congress would not disband them before their accounts were settled and established. So it was March of 1783. I'll find the letter later and put it in the comments here so we can look at it. But yeah, he's what makes you? Let me ask you first before we get into it. What made you such a big fan of Alexander Hamilton?
He pretty much single-handedly invented America.
What do you mean?
Meaning he's the person who had the vision of this enormously influential, powerful country that combines farming and finance and has become a beacon of freedom and hope for peoples all over the world. So that was his vision. If it was Jefferson, we'd all be like Central America.
Oh, yeah. Jefferson is like, well, I mean...
And he also understood that politics is inherently corrupt.
He was the most corrupt person involved in politics. He fixed the first two elections. What do you mean?
Wait. First of all, I don't think elections are legitimate anyway, so I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to fix the election for Washington.
They wanted it to be unanimous. The first one, right?
And that was.
There's no way, right? Well, there's a lot of smoke around that. I guess there's no way to really tell. But during the Adams administration,
right,
which was only one term, and thankfully so,
right,
because he was terrible. But Adams wouldn't go along with trying to go to war somewhere.
Okay.
And Hamilton said, "You're either going to do what the Federalists want, or we're going to kick you out."
Sure.
That's weird.
Why is that weird?
Because why should somebody that's not elected have that power?
Because that's how. I don't think that becoming elected means you have more legitimacy than someone who has. I mean, wouldn't you rather Elon have power than Biden?
No, I would rather somebody that's actually beholden to the electorate have power.
I don't think politicians are beholden to the electorate, and certainly at that point they weren't. Most of the people weren't even voters.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, even the people that were eligible to vote, most
right.
People
but I don't care about the elect. I care about what's right.
Okay. Well,
I think politicians are inherently inferior to people who are accomplished on their own and who've made something of themselves.
So why have politics at all then?
Well, I'm opposed to politics.
Okay.
As you know, I'm an anarchist. But my point is to understand what politics really is. It is just about power. So I'm baffled. If I understand you correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Greg Abbott deserves particularly more respect than you.
I mean, no, not necessarily, but this is the system of government we have, is it not?
Well, it's a system of government that exists, but doesn't. I don't. Who cares? I don't understand. I don't understand your point.
My point is that in the system of government that we have, that you say Alexander Hamilton was so instrumental in developing,
sure,
right? This is the way it's meant to work. You're supposed to, these people, we're supposed to elect these people, and they ask us permission to lead, and then we give them, permission to do so, and then they're supposed to do what we've asked them to do, and if they don't, our recourse is to vote again.
Well, supposed to is a blue pill term, right? So,
sure.
Right. So, sure, even within that model, that doesn't mean that this person who has been elected is in any sense someone to revere.
I know,
respect.
I'm provoking you. So
this isn't provocation.
It is, yeah, because
okay.
I like hearing you talk about it. So
okay.
This is a good. The reason I brought this up is because I want to segue into anarchism, because I think nobody understands it. People hear it and they think Mad Max.
Sure.
Or Somalia, right?
Sure.
And neither one of those are true. That's
Correct.
not at all what the actual belief system is. So what does it mean exactly from your perspective? I think we elucidate a little bit of it through there. It's like, yeah, these systems exist, but come on, right? It's kind of like, come on.
Well,
this is bullshit.
Here's a easy way for people to wrap their heads around it. Which is, there's that line about everyone's an atheist with one exception, right?
Yeah.
So if you and I went to another country and, we want to have a drink and it's illegal there, we go to a party and they're like, hey, help yourself to whatever's in the fridge and there's some beers there, we might wonder, okay, what are the likelihood of us getting arrested? Are we going to get deported? All this other stuff. It's never going to enter our head, well, the government here said it's illegal, so this is wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not a thought.
No, it's about consequences.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the same application to every government.
Yeah.
So it's just the belief that state authority is inherently legitimate.
Do you pay taxes?
Of course.
And the reason that you do that is not because you think state authority is legitimate, it's because you just don't want to go to prison.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
Which is what most people probably believe. Like, I don't think anybody sits around dreaming about state authority except for maybe white liberal women.
I do think that most people, including most conservatives, think the government does have a right to tax you.
That is a not from you, but that's a strong belief to have.
But they think,
and an odd one.
They think that, I think people would say, if you ask me right now, is it wrong to completely not pay income tax? They would say yes. Even conservatives.
Wrong, like morally wrong.
Morally wrong. They would say that.
Oh boy. Well, it's not.
It's not.
Like everybody's fair share is zero.
Right.
Like, nobody's entitled to your labor. Nothing is a human right that requires somebody else's labor. That
Amen.
is
Exactly.
the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's not dumb. It's it's incorrect.
But it's dumb.
I don't think it's dumb.
That's a dumb, incorrect belief to have.
Do you think there are incorrect ideas that are smart?
I think there are incorrect ideas that you could steel man.
Okay,
yes.
You can steel man. You can't steel man this one.
No,
I can.
No, I don't think that institutional authority like that. I mean, I guess you could steel man it if you just assume that person is weak and afraid. Because to me, that's what it is. You're weak and you don't have the core belief that you can take care of yourself.
No, I think
so. You depend on some other institution to take care of you, and you're willing to abide by their rules as a result of that.
But it's also the idea that, like, look, I don't want to see people starving in the street, so everyone has to chip in to make sure that they have shelters and things like that.
Sure, yeah, we have churches for that. Well, allegedly.
Sure, but that's the argument. I think the steel-man argument.
Is there a legitimate thing as an authoritative hierarchy?
What do you mean authoritative?
I mean government.
Well, the hierarchy.
Is there such a thing as legitimate government?
There's a legitimate hierarchy, but there's no such thing as legitimate government.
Explain the difference.
Sure. If you and I and a bunch of people did stand up, the professional would be at the top. You and I would be maybe in the middle. I don't know. The point is, hierarchy is inevitable and it happens in every circumstance. I remember the term pecking order comes from birds. I had an aquarium when I was in Brooklyn, and it turned out I'd fished from like every ocean, just coincidentally. So the only place on earth these fish were in the same tank were in my house. And they had it right away between them. They figured out who gets the food first, who's two number. They communicate.
Sure.
So this concept that equality is possible and or desirable is nonsensical.
Desirable is, I mean, it's possible through authoritarianism, but it's not.
If there's authoritarianism, you have inequality.
Yeah.
You have the guy at the top,
Yeah.
You know, so it's binary at the very least.
I don't think hierarchy always necessarily confers authority, though, right? There are people who are excellent at something that aren't at the top of that field, or that aren't for one reason or another, right?
Sure, but there's still going to be somebody is at the top, right?
Yeah, somebody is, but it's not because of talent or whatever. So I guess the problem I have with it is what determines the hierarchy, because it's not just one thing, right? I know you weren't giving. That's a kind of a reductive example, the comedy thing, because there's so many other factors in it. Well, being friends with the person that runs the comedy club might be part of it as well.
It also drives me crazy when people describe like Darwinism as survival of the fittest, and they mean the strongest person always wins. It's like, no, look how many ants there are. Look how many unicellular organisms there are. Fittest doesn't mean strongest; it means best fitted for that context. So politically, it might not be the person who's the smartest, most competent. It's just someone who's good at getting votes. That's what the fittest is in that context. And that's who wins those hierarchies. It's these sociopaths.
Yeah, well, certainly, but to some degree, that's our fault too, right? Because we're the ones that make the rules of the game.
Who's we? I didn't make any rules of this game. I didn't sign shit.
You make a rule every time you accept somebody else's behavior.
No, I mean, I don't think it's legit. I don't think rules made under coercion are legitimate.
Well, you can say it's not legitimate, but it exists.
Sure, but that's something. I mean, again, something exists and something being legitimate aren't the same thing.
Well, I mean, so like you don't think taxation is legitimate, but you participate in it. So
correct.
It is, you have created a rule with your compliance.
I have accepted a rule with my compliance.
That's splitting hairs to me. I don't see the difference.
Well, I think this hair needs splitting.
We'll split it then.
Sure. You don't understand. You don't see the difference between creating something and accepting something.
There's clearly a difference, but functionally speaking, there's not a difference.
There's a big difference, and here's one example right now. I walked in here. Your show. You're sitting there. I'm sitting here. I didn't create anything. I've accepted something, a structure that has been. Now I can leave at any time, or I can argue with you about, I don't want to have that Stanley on the desk, or blah blah. And you could say, "Fuck out of here." You could say, "Okay, no problem." But the point is, I'm walking into a system that has been pre-created. I'm not creating it.
Sure, I know. The implication is not that you're creating it, but you're sustaining it with your effort.
Sure, I think that's true.
So what's the difference?
What's the difference between creating and sustaining? Because when I leave, this is still going to be your space. So that's a big difference between if I created something and it's my space.
Right. So I don't understand the point of that though. Like, because we're not talking about a desk, we're talking about the system of government that we are all going to live our entire lives under.
I don't think we're all going to live our entire lives under it at all.
What do you think? Well, we can get to that later.
I don't. I also think that there's a thing about branding, right? So, Coke. When in the '80s, there's something called New Coke. They basically just changed the formula of Coke. It was one of the biggest disasters in history.
Yeah.
They changed the formula of Coke entirely, but they slapped the label Coke on it. The government federal government after 1865 is not the same federal government as 1789.
I mean, after 1913, it's not the same federal government.
Right.
After 1933, it's not the same government.
Right. So, but people can't wrap their heads around it because it's in Washington, the same building. It's called the federal government. So for when you say we're all going to be living on this system forever, I don't think that's true.
When's the last time you think it changed significantly? Because for me, it would have been 2001 with the Homeland Security.
Patriot Act?
Yeah.
That was a big one.
That was the largest expansion of the federal government in history, and Republicans did that.
How is it the largest in history?
165,000 new federal jobs were created with the Department of Homeland Security Authorization Act.
How would you compare that to FDR though? That was huge.
Maybe spending per capita changed then, but like permanent federal jobs is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Right. It's the largest expansion of the federal government ever. And then Obama added, I think, another 70,000 in his term. So this is one of the things I run into a lot with people talking about Trump. This big, beautiful thing that he did adds tens of thousands of new permanent federal employees to deal with an immigration problem, which is temporary, right? I mean, we're gonna figure it out at some point or not, but it's not going to be. We're not going to have the need for mass deportations permanently. We're either going to do it or we're not, and they're going to stay. It'll be one of those two things, but we've created tens of thousands of new jobs that will be permanent now. And if the idea, the people tell me, oh, the next Democratic administration will just cut those jobs. I'm sorry, you just tell me a Democrat is going to cut federal jobs? Yeah, no, man.
It's fascinating you say that. So I talk about this in my book, Then You Write. March of Dimes, people don't know, was to fight polio. And that's why FDR is on the dime, because he had polio.
Nobody fucking knows that.
Right. So give dime. and eventually polio was cured. It's wonderful. Now you have this huge organization which is great at raising money and great at solving medical problems. You think they pat themselves on the back like, all right, polio is cured, we're going home. No, they just pivoted to other things. So these 10,000 agents that Trump hired, yeah, you're right. Maybe they're not going to do mass deportations, but maybe they're going to do something. They're going to round up people who aren't vaccinated, or they're going to figure something out. This is ridiculous. They're going to have a union too.
This is why if somebody refers to themselves, you say the new right, your book is great to touch on all this stuff. There is no right any longer. There are people that call themselves that, but unless your political principles are founded in decentralization and individual liberty, then you are not, right? You can call yourself whatever you want, but we just don't do that anymore. And it comes up a lot because these days, one of the ways that neocons and others get out of some stupid shit they've done is to refer to themselves as a Reagan Republican. I'm like, so not a Republican, then, is what you're saying?
No, they're the real Republicans. You're not.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
The real Republican is increasing the size of the government.
Yeah. And they have been for my entire life,
right?
Sure.
And it's just also fascinating when people are like, "Oh, well, it's not their fault." Like, there's Democrats in Congress. I'm like, so the only condition you have to cut government spending is that the Democratic Party, the oldest political party, ceases to exist. Yeah. That's your win condition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And to your other point that you were just making about the March of Dimes, this happens all the time. These organizations that are created to solve a problem become an industry.
Yes.
Breast cancer, what the fuck?
How many AIDS organizations are out there?
AIDS, feminism itself.
Right.
Second, third, and fourth wave feminism. And this is where people ask all the time, how did all this trans bullshit come about? It's because the gay thing got solved. That's right. All those people needed something to do. They're like, oh, you know what we should do? We should cut kids' dicks off.
Right.
Like, oh my God. I was living in Oakland and working in San Francisco when the Supreme Court thing came down on gay marriage. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Good for them. Like, the government shouldn't be involved in any of this shit. Why the fuck would that be illegal? That's weird. That the government would even care what two people do in the privacy of their own home. And then all of a sudden, men in women's clothing started showing up to meetings. And I'm like, sorry, what?
Seriously? Is that quick?
Yep. Like that. Between 2011 and 2012, I started seeing them. And I'm like, what is the fuck going on here, right? But they're pick-me's, right? They like, their entire identity is centered around the attention that they get.
Yes.
And they stopped getting attention. Being gay wasn't enough anymore.
Right.
And even people I knew that weren't, not my friends, but my ex's friends at the time, dudes who were married were like, oh, I think I might be non-binary now.
No,
you're
lying.
I swear to God.
You're lying.
Two of them, both in Wisconsin, actually. And they just started transitioning, and you could see the look on their wives' faces. They're like, oh yeah. So it's the same look you see when somebody takes a bite of kale.
Okay.
They're pretending to enjoy it, but you know they hate their life in that moment.
So there's this clip I talk about all the time where a Canadian journalist went back to North Korea. And he's standing outside there's an ostrich ranch outside Pyongyang because the idea was more meat and ostriches and they'll feed the people. So there's always two guides, right? So it's him, the ostrich, and a male guide and a female guide. And the Canadian journalist goes, last time I was here, I talked to you about gays and lesbians. And the guy's like, yeah. And he goes, what about bisexuals? And this North Korean goes, what? And I mean, I can understand. I can wrap my head around, and I'm sure the wives can. If the guy comes home and is like, I think I'm trans. But if he's like, I think I'm non-binary, it's like, what does that fucking mean?
Yeah, you just...
Like, you want to wear makeup sometimes? Well, what's the utility here?
That's the whole point, though, right? That's...
Right. You have to commit.
It's almost...
Did you not ask them what they mean by this?
I just kind of, like, left... because that's retarded. I can't exist at a place where people are that stupid.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, I don't know. But it's a function of.
You know what it's like? If you, Dan, told me, and I bet you this is probably true, there are some ABBA songs that you like, that in no way means you're not fully a man.
I don't know if I know any ABBA songs.
You know them not by name. I'm positive. You can't not have.
Maybe. I mean, they sold like 1 billion records.
Right, and
so.
The records you hear them everywhere. It's just like
Mamma Mia.
Right.
So any of those songs. I haven't seen Mamma Mia, but I've seen clips or something. I'm sure. Yeah.
But if you want to wear, you're still a dude. A dude in a dress is a dude.
Yeah. I mean, so autogynephilia was never considered to be a trans thing. It was just dudes who got sexual thrills from dressing up like women, right?
Right. So you're not. So this is you're not allowed to talk about this whole thing.
I don't give a fuck.
I'm not saying you. Are you on the spectrum?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, look.
Because I don't mean you literally. I meant one is not allowed to talk about this.
Yeah. You're not allowed to talk about FBI crime data either.
No, but AGP's even worse.
Yeah,
because that's really because
yeah.
Yeah,
But I think that whole attitude is a function of postmodernism, where they want to erase any kind of objective
That's
truth,
right. Yes, and identity.
That's it, right? It's everything comes down to identity, and you get to choose your own identity.
And
there's no possibility, because I like to steel man things too. There's no possibility for a meritocracy at all in that environment.
You know what I think.
It's like children with fake laser guns. I got you. No, I got you. Like, all right, man, I'm just gonna kill myself. This is stupid.
Can I tell a laser gun story? Because this just happened last month.
Yeah.
My birthday's in July, so I never had birthday parties at school. So shout out to all the summer birthday kids.
When's your birthday?
July 12th.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you so much, sir. So I spend my summers upstate in the Catskills, and my birthday comes around. I think it was my 10th, and there's no like toy stores even there. And we went to Monticello, which is a little town, and we went to, there's like one strip, and we went to the video game store. And like that was my choice for my birthday, and it's the kind of shit where you could buy with all those tickets.
Oh yeah.
So it's like just the shittiest shit ever. And the best I had was like this laser gun, and I knew enough as a kid to be like, oh yeah, this is great, because I felt bad for my family because this is the best they could get for me. And I just got that same gun on eBay. I'm like, I bought this fucking
You've
gun.
got so much weird shit.
I know, but I look at that gun, I'm like, this is my like most sad birthday ever. But yeah, I think, you know what else I think ties into this? Video games.
In what regard?
Because when you're playing an RPG, you can be a warrior, you could be a magic user, you could be a boy, you could be a girl, you could be an orc. And I think so much of our lives is increasingly spent online. It's very easy to kind of have a disconnect, and I think this happens to a lot of people, between their identity and their body.
Escapism is turned into identity somehow.
Yeah, don't you think?
Right. It's very weird, yeah. It's like...
like on the internet, no one knows I'm a dog, that meme.
Yeah. I mean... and I think there's been, with social media especially, like usually you would have, like if you and I worked together in the 1950s, you would know 3 things about me.
Sure.
You would know that I was married because of my ring. You would know that I had kids because of the pictures on my desk. And you might know that I liked this team or this event or that event. And that would be pretty much it.
Sure.
Right? Now I need to tell you everything. I have to put it on the internet so everybody can fucking see it. Why? You can do. I promise you, folks. You can do things and not tell people. I do it all the time. Just go to the fucking store or the beach or something. Enjoy your day and don't even tell anybody about it. I mean, obviously with your family or whatever you're doing, but
yeah.
you don't have to like post pictures every time you do something. But we are compelled at this point to do it, and that's to me that's frightening. Because it's one thing to be looking in the mirror all the time. It's another thing to look in the mirror all the time through the lens of other people's eyes. I think it's fucking us up.
It sets you up for very bad things.
This episode of Citizen is brought to you by our title sponsor, Omaha Steaks. Best steaks in the business, the oldest butcher in America, America's original butcher since 1917. A family-owned company with 100 years of expertise in the meat industry, and look, they've got everything. Mouth-watering burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, and even desserts. They got some sides on there, too. You know how I feel about sides, but they have them. Grass-fed, grain-finished beef has more marbling for exceptional flavor and is the choice of steakhouses and professional chefs around the world. There's nothing quite like the unforgettable taste of a summer cookout. And as the summer heats up, the blazing hot sale is the perfect time to stock up and save on exceptional handcrafted flavor and convenience. Make your summer sizzle with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their blazing hot sale. And for an extra $45 off, use the promo code CITIZEN at checkout. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $45 off with the promo code CITIZEN at checkout. See site for details. And it's not just for you. It can be given as a gift as well. I've given a couple of gifts over the last couple of weeks of this. It's an easy stocking stuffer during the holidays, but even birthdays and all the things that come up during your life where you want to do something nice for somebody, for your dad, for the man in your life, or to make your wife's life easier by having a constant supply of meat coming to the house so she doesn't have to do all that grocery shopping, whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. Go to omahasteaks.com to get 50% off site-wide during their blazing hot sale. Use the promo code CITIZEN at checkout for an additional $45 off. Minimum purchase may apply. See site for details. And a big thanks to our advertiser, Omaha Steaks. This episode is also brought to you by First Form firstform.com/Drinking Bros, the best protein in the business. Protein is the building block of life, folks. I say it all the time. You replace every cell in your body over the course of 2 to 10 years, depending on how active you are, how much you eat, and how clean you eat. And if you're replacing it with garbage, you're going to be garbage. So make sure you're eating the best possible protein you can and supplementing with First Form. Don't forget about the micro factors. It's just a little simple pack. Open it up, dump it in your mouth hole, and feel better. You know, they've got the liver detox, which is a great thing for people that like to drink or people who, just want to be healthier. And then they have all these other supplements. They've got great pre-workouts. They've got great protein in all the flavors. And then, of course, for people on the go like us, they have exceptional meat sticks, protein sticks, and a variety of different flavors. And then the level 1 protein bars in a variety of flavors as well. That we talk about this stuff all the time. They're great. So go to firstform.com/Drinking Bros. It's the best company in the world. You've seen us with Andy. You've seen the company. We love these guys. It's a very American company. So go support them and support us. Firstform.com/Drinking Bros. That's 1stphorm.com/Drinking Bros. Like, you either become addicted to the attention, right, or you become depressed for the lack of it, or the bad attention, right?
Right.
And those are the only two ways to.
Right. And your entire self-esteem is outsourced to the algorithm.
And I think all of this, again, is to some degree a function of Marxism and postmodernism, the erosion of the individual identity that exists inside you. Not the identity that you project to everybody, that you feel the need to, but me, Dan, here's a list of shit that I can do. For sure. And here are a list of character principles that I can hold dear. Like, I want to be a good man. It's important to me. I want to help people. That's important to me. That's not how we define ourselves anymore. But right?
Here, I don't like this word "we" because this brings up my concept that I play around with. I don't think many people have an identity.
There's a lot of NPCs running around.
Right.
I don't know what percentage it is.
I think it's terrifyingly big.
Have you read the Simulation Hypothesis by Rizwan Virk?
No.
That's what I'm getting you for your birthday.
Okay. Well,
it's delayed, but you're going to have to deal with it. You didn't tell me your fucking birthday, asshole, so it's not my fault.
I don't put everything on the internet, Dan. And my birthday's on my Wikipedia anyway. Yeah, that was my choice.
He is a computer programmer, video game designer, right, AI guy. He's at MIT, Stanford, and I think he teaches courses at Arizona State now on video games, which is kind of weird. If you were to put 3 universities together and you had MIT and Stanford,
right,
you would not consider adding Arizona State as the third, right?
That's fair.
That's like inviting Gary to your fucking business meeting.
I love Gary.
Yeah, I do too, but I'm not bringing him to my fucking white collar business.
Why?
Meeting.
He'd be a good foil.
He would, yeah. It's like, oh, that's Gary.
He has a purpose.
He's on meth. Don't worry about him. But yeah, it's the book is like really goes through the ins and outs of what it might seem like if we were in a simulation, how many NPCs we might be. We might see what deja vu is, right? And he kind of compares the things that we experience in life to how a computer experiences things in a big generated simulation. And he says he thinks there's like 70 to 80% chance we're in a simulation.
I think we're in a 3D projection or downgrade, whatever the opposite of projection is, of a 4D world. And I think...
Well, string theory predicts that. And then 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, all the way up to 10th.
But my point being that I think some people don't exist in the 4D space.
So the Japanese would say they don't have souls.
Sure, whatever you want to...
But I think this is something that's very interesting to me. When you see the same principle articulated differently
right,
in different cultures, religion is a good way to see that, right?
Yes.
Like the golden rule exists in pretty much every religion that's ever happened. And in places that could not have possibly communicated with one another at the time. That goes back to your other point. If something is that widespread, there's probably some universal truth to it.
Sure.
We may not be aware of what the actual truth part of it is, but there
something's
is some
going
truth.
on.
Yes. So this is the problem that I have, because my personal opinion, and I agree with you, that the Federalist Papers, Madison and Hamilton, pretty smart dudes.
Yes.
Right. I enjoyed quite a few of those. John Jay as well, pretty smart guy. We are, when I say we, I mean the United States. The purpose for all of this was the purpose was that when the state is large, the individual is small.
Sure.
And we wanted to try to do something about that. American as the founders. I guess I'm not one of them, but they wanted to set up the conditions where the individual would be
right.
key,
That's right.
And I don't know that there's a system of government that can ever accomplish that. I think it's dependent in the same way that nuclear fusion and gravity balance out a star. That's why it stays together. I think there is a relationship between effort and outcome.
Sure.
But the problem is that it seems like the bulk of us aren't capable
Or interested.
in
That's
doing
right.
that.
So any system that is going to be contingent on a majority of people seeking freedom as their highest value is doomed. You will never have that as a condition of any, unless it's a self-selecting population.
Yeah, but how do you? I mean, that's another problem. So let's go back a little bit. What is? Because I believe in this. I believe in anarchism. Insofar as I don't respect government authority.
Great.
Right.
That's anarchism.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really, to me, the fundamental of it.
Okay,
You know
that
what I
is
mean?
the fundamental. Yes.
But I also, and I know I'm not judging you. I'm saying that I think you probably agree with this, that there's a responsibility required of people who are actually awake to behave in such a way that maintains that, right?
I don't know what you mean by I don't like that word responsibility.
Well, if I want to live in a certain kind of world, I'm responsible for helping to create or maintain that kind of world. Otherwise, I don't have a right to bitch about it, is what I'm saying.
I don't know that I would agree with that. Maybe I'm splitting hairs, but I do think that to be a man, or maybe just to be a human being, is to impose your will in the world and create it, move it towards the direction you would like it to be.
I mean,
right?
in the physical world, that's very Locke of you, right? Like you apply your labor to the earth and you extract wealth.
I didn't mean physically.
Right?
I mean like.
I know,
morally.
but like it's a parallel. It's the same concept. Yeah.
And I think that's what it means to be a man, is to kind of being like, this is what I believe, and I'm going to fight for my values and implement my values into reality.
So what does a functioning anarchist society look like in practice then, right?
This.
The reason I want to ask this question is because I think this is true of libertarianism and a couple of other ideologies as well.
Sure.
They aren't meant to be the fundamental baseline of government.
There's no government.
I know. Well, I mean, there is, though. It exists. I'm just saying, like, these are meant to be personal attitudes that help you influence the world in the way that you want to influence it, right? And depending on which mathematical formula, I guess, you like on this subject, I'm not a big fan of the Nash equilibrium theory where we should work together for the best possible outcome.
I don't believe in that
I think
at
that's
all.
a bunch of communist nonsense,
That's
to be honest.
correct. Yes. Amen.
Yes. So if there is indeed, this is my premise, if there's indeed universal principles underlying things that are widespread like that, and I believe that there are, then everybody acting in good faith, but in their own best interest, is going to produce the best possible results.
But you don't need everybody.
No. I mean, everybody that's capable is what I'm saying when I say that.
But you don't even need everybody. There's going to be always some murderers or sociopaths or bad people.
Sure, yeah. That's what I mean.
Problems.
A critical mass, then maybe, I guess.
Sure.
There's probably some limit that needs to get hit.
That's a perfect way of putting it. Critical mass. That's exactly correct.
So I think if that amount of people are going for the best possible outcomes for themselves,
that's right,
then we will have enough agreement in those universal principles for things to work out.
And also the disagreement will be resolved easily and peaceably.
Well, that's the biggest part, I think, because and this is what the people give Hamilton a lot of shit for this too, about central federal authority, but he also created the system of government federalism where it's like, if we can solve things here, if we can agree here, then we'll solve it here. If we can't, we'll solve them down here. If we can't, we'll solve them down here. And if we can't, it's back to the individual. That was the whole point of federalism, right?
But the problem with government is a minority of people are always going to be unhappy, which makes no sense. Because if you look at any other field, you listen to whatever music you like. I listen to whatever music I like. I don't know what bands you like, but I do know that if you go to a concert I want you to enjoy, even though maybe that concert would be hell for me. Right. So you could have whatever political views you have. I have mine. If I'm not imposing them on you, I don't care. And the problem is it forces everyone to have to care, and it forces everyone to make these bucket choices between, I have to pick this. It's like saying I'm going to pick the same person, my lawyer, my dentist, my maid, and my mechanic, because I have to pick the same person for economics, foreign policy, so on and so forth. It makes absolutely no sense. And the only reason people think it's great, or It's like, well, what other option do we have? And people do not know how to check a system at the fundamentals.
Yeah.
They just look at it and think they can only tinker with it.
I think it's weird that we have. I think our system of government is a little bit weird. To be
What do you mean
honest.
weird? I don't like that word.
I think
I'm
that
pretty weird.
I think that one, we've changed the way that we hire senators.
Okay,
Right?
I
It used
hate
to
that
be-
word "we."
Well, it's the country we live in. So
Sure.
the United States has changed the way that it selects
Constitution, yeah.
senators. Right? It was the state legislatures, the
Correct.
governor would decide, and now it's the voters. Which
Right.
that's not how it was supposed to be. Right?
Right.
I think it's odd that if you look at the professions of most politicians, lawyer is the most common.
Correct.
And certainly to some degree their job is to make law.
Yes.
I guess, right?
It is entirely their job.
But you know, it's not though, right? So if you're a business attorney,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a great one by the way, when it comes to the execution of business plans, he doesn't do any of that. He makes the contracts.
Sure.
Right? So we have a huge gap in institutional knowledge right now, and it's being filled by paid lobbyists,
Right.
which are just trying to influence things.
Correct.
That is what it is, I guess.
Sure.
It's going to happen no matter what. People say we should outlaw lobbyists, and I think they're a bunch of cunts, to be honest, for the most part. But it's going to happen one way or another, no matter what. So
It
I
will
don't know what
always-
you could really do about that.
It will always be the case that Bill Gates can get any senator on the phone
Yeah.
faster than you and I can.
Yeah, but what we're missing, I think, is a true expert class that informs good decisions. Now, people posit different kinds of solutions that, like, we should elect more.
Trust the experts, Dan Holloway.
yeah.
We've all heard him. We all heard him.
We should elect more scientists. Like, have you met one? Because most of them can't have this fucking conversation.
Correct.
They can give a lecture or they can do math, but
Right.
they can't have this conversation. And you know, a big part of that job is communicating.
Sure.
So I don't know how you fold in the expert class,
You can't.
right?
Because the mechanism itself is going to weed out the people you want. And here's another reason. This is why venture capitalists make so much money. Because if you and I are sitting here and there's 100 people and we have to pick out which is the one who actually has something figured out, it's going to be very hard because a lot of people are going to make a good case. So a priori, you can't figure out who's going to be the one who's right. Or if you are able to do that, you have very rare skill, and I hope you make a lot of money by investing correctly in that person. This is why you want as much freedom to enter a market as possible. If I start a business and I know what I'm doing, the cost is mine. But if I succeed, everyone benefits.
Right.
Me disproportionately, but now everyone has a new app, a new product, a new whatever, so on and so forth. If you have a government or voters trying to pick and choose, so I always say that democracy is people who run businesses well being forced to run businesses poorly, but people who can't run businesses at all. And that's exactly what it is. The idea that I would sit here and have no idea about your industry, and I'm in a position to tell you how much you have to pay your employees is psychotic.
Yeah.
But people just kind of take it as, well, there's a lot of us having this opinion, so therefore it's valid. Makes no sense.
Yeah, this is the the best possible argument for decentralization that exists.
Sure, there's a lot of them, but yeah, this is a big one.
That to me, that's the fundamental one, though. It's like the collective will of people is what chooses winners, typically.
Right.
Right. And if you interfere with that process, things get fucked.
Right.
Every single time. Invariably.
Every single time.
And if so.
And they have no consequences for making the wrong decision.
Right. Yeah. So if you I understand that people desire fairness in life. I think it's unreasonable, but I understand it, right?
I don't understand Can I tell you why I don't understand it?
Yeah,
There was a
sure.
professor in my college, business professor, and he had a big whiteboard, and he wrote on one side, he said, fair, he wrote on one side, unfair on the other side. He goes, give me words. Okay, this, that, he put it on each side. And they crossed out fair and unfair and wrote, I like it, I don't like it. I don't think the term fairness has any real coherent meaning.
Yeah, probably not. Well, here's one. This is I brought this up a couple of times on the show recently. I'd like to get your thoughts on this. So when I talk to everybody, because I'm very interested in the way people think,
Sure.
and I think that back to we mentioned it a couple of times, there are underlying principles that people actually believe in, but they don't know that.
Correct.
They've stacked bad beliefs on top of
That's
them.
right. That's right. Exactly right.
So healthcare has been one of the most contentious debates for the last 40 years in this country. And a person that leans left will say, I think we should have free healthcare. In my brain, alarm bells, like there's no such thing as free, blah, blah,
Right,
blah.
right.
But I'll skip that for now. and take them. Let me try to, because they may not know. I'm going to try to fucking work my way down to the root principle that they believe in. And typically what I find is that this is the statement that I've come up with to describe that position. In the richest country in the history of the world, it may be unethical that you can only be as healthy as you can afford to be.
Sure.
Right? Like, we should help each other as human beings. That's why we built civilization in the first place, right? I don't like the word we, but that's all of us.
Yes.
That's the reason we built walls in the first place, to keep the bears out. And now white women want to go back into the woods with the bears, I guess. But so when I hear that person say this stupid thing, and I can reduce it back to this actual principle, I can be like, well, I think what you mean is this. And they're like, yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
That sounds stupid, though.
I'm like, that is not stupid at all.
Right.
What you just said is something that I think almost everybody would agree with.
Sure.
The problem is, how do we solve that problem without violating our other principles? You're hyper focused on one thing, one principle that has bad ideas stacked on top of it. Move that shit out of the way. Look at this one thing. This has to be true for us.
Yeah.
We have to do this because it's important for the maintenance of our civilization. So how do we do it without violating these other laws? I think that's a very important conversation that we need to have.
Sure.
But when government steps in, they choose winners and losers.
That's right.
And it doesn't fucking work. And when I say government, I don't just mean Congress or your state legislature. I mean 50 people deciding some bullshit because they want it to be that way. It's the is-ought fallacy. They want it to be that way, but it doesn't exist in that reality.
And there's also a huge dichotomy, because governments, there's huge pressure to spend less, whereas in a free market, there's huge pressure to spend more, because the more I spend, the more profit I make.
Right.
So very quickly, that person who is racking up the medical costs is going to be a problem for that politician who's going to look, your budget's getting out of control. What that budget means is people who are on death's door, or people who have cancer, so on and so forth. And that's why you have things like MAID being, or what is it called?
MAID in Canada?
And in England they're starting it now.
Yeah.
It's very good, because it's a great way to save money.
Yeah. I mean, it originally started in Oregon, I believe, with not Kaczynski. What was his name? Kevorkian.
Yeah, there's a book called Final Exit.
Yeah.
Well, he was Michigan or Minnesota.
Was it Michigan? I thought he was in Oregon.
I'm 90% sure.
Yeah, he might have been.
Midwest.
Let's see, Jack Kevorkian. I remember his name. Kevorkian.
Because there are people who don't know, he was a doctor who was.
He was born in Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, Royal Oak. Yep.
Okay. Was helping people commit physician-assisted suicide.
Which,
horrific stuff.
That's their right.
I hear you, life. But everyone learned in the I think I could say literally everyone listening to the show has learned, if they didn't know already, in the last 20 years, that it's not a slippery slope, it's an elevator shaft. And we went overnight from, gay kids shouldn't be bullied till they're suicidal in school, so we're going to show porn to kids. It's like, wait, like overnight. Yeah. So the same thing, it's like, we can maybe agree that if someone has terminal illness, they're in constant pain, you should put them out of their misery. Tomorrow, it's going to be, this kid has low self-esteem, let's put him out of his misery. It's going to be overnight, and it's terrifying. And it's happening right now. In Europe, they're encouraging teenagers with depression to go through this, and I'm sorry, that is murder.
I mean, Canada, they're reaching out to veterans. Like, part of the veteran healthcare system up there is like, hey, you're having a bad day, how about you kill yourself? It's like, all right. I thought we were going in the opposite direction on that one.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's wild. And
I don't think it's wild at all.
I mean, it's what you should expect. People are fucking idiots, or they just have no soul, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Back to that point, though.
Oh my God. I'm still stuck on this.
It's fucked up. Yeah. Mine and Candace's friend Kelsey talks about the show.
I know, Kelsey. Sure. Yeah. It also really bothers me because there's less outrage over this than using the wrong pronouns.
Yeah.
Which is like.
I mean, you can go to jail in Canada. What is it? C-16 or whatever.
That's right. Yeah.
That bill. That's what Jordan Peterson became famous for rejecting or whatever. Back to the public-private thing. So SNAP benefits plus Medicare cost us like $2.5 billion or $1 trillion a year with a T. $2.5 trillion combined. It's our largest expenditure, like welfare shit. Whereas if a private company built micro farms all over the country and was profiting off of them, and you would, because it is a variable price model, but you don't do freight. There's no freight because it's seeds. You know what I mean? There's no freight, and it's local. The production happens there and gets distributed there. You can make a fuck ton of money doing that if somebody invested in it. And it would knock out the idea of food desert would not be a thing anymore.
No,
because there would be no distance.
The food desert's a thing because of crime.
That's true. Yeah, because crime is allowed to happen. Right. Mostly, but yeah. But the
Oh, can we talk about food deserts? Because this really is a trigger of mine.
yeah, get one sec
sorry.
though. To your point, now a private company or some number of companies is making money, and instead of having to have conversations, as to your point about cutting back on that, they're looking to grow more food.
Yeah, of course.
So it's the underlying ideology required to lean into statism is either the person just has no fourth dimension, or they're fucking retarded, or both. I just don't understand.
I don't think they're retarded at all. I think it's a function of fish swim in a school, and if you're surrounded by this kind of mindset, look, it's also posited like this: the choices are either I'm going to be for welfare or from genocide. And I think it's a very fair option.
You can have a trans kid or a dead kid, right?
Right. That's how they pose it.
Yep.
So if you frame it that way, those are this is funny to me. I play Would You Rather on Twitter all the time, and I have to lock my polls because it's like, would you rather lose your foot or your hand? I'd rather be a millionaire. Yeah, great. Like sometimes you have to make bad choices. And they frame it in these binaries where the option is really kind of, it sucks, but it's going to be infinitely preferable to the other.
This is why you should never trust any political poll ever. Because every single one of them, every one of them is written exactly how you just said.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
my options, like, oh, this one or oh, that one. It's like,
Right.
Come on, man.
So,
all right,
yeah.
go to food deserts. Curious.
So for people listening to this, there's a term that the media uses called food deserts, because what happens is you have these poor neighborhoods or areas, like Detroit's a big example of this, and there's no supermarkets for
Oakland as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no supermarkets. It's like, oh, this is a function of racism. It's like, wait, no. What happened was the supermarkets go into these areas. They get robbed all the time. There's no consequences. They can't make a profit, and then they shut down, and then they're called racist. Like, if they were racist, why would they open up in these areas to begin with?
Right. I think we finally maybe have the evidence to show normal folk what happens, because it's happened in the last 2 years in San Francisco and LA and Portland.
It happened in LA too?
In Seattle, yeah. So businesses gone.
And how can they not?
CVS has to choose between hiring multiple armed security guards and locking literally everything up, or just moving their store.
Yeah.
It's one of those two things. And to be honest, they get heat either way. Like, why are you logging all this stuff up? It's an open air prison. Like, oh my God.
Right.
Stop stealing shit.
Right.
The fuck, man. I mean,
or if you do steal, go to jail.
Yeah, well, that would be something, wouldn't it? Consequences.
Right.
In an anarchist society, how do you handle criminal justice? So it's just Tombstone.
It's not just Tombstone. So like, let's.
I gotta go shoot Curly Bill in the
alley. Sorry, Gary, but too much meth for you. Now we're gonna solve Gary's problem. No.
I think the meth is eventually gonna solve it for him.
Oh,
hopefully not.
No, he's gonna win. I'm rooting for you. No, you would have private in the same way that it doesn't like
cuffs.
Hold on. In the same way that like people understand in any other context, if you have a monopoly, it means no accountability, expense, the problems, blah, 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 blah. When it comes to security, they're like, nope, this is so important, it has to be a government monopoly, and it makes no sense. If you had, instead of 911, an Uber app, where if there's a problem, someone comes who's trained and armed, maybe they have to take some licensing test. People can wrap their heads around that very easily, because very quickly, the people who are bad at it are going to be gone, and the people who are good at it are going to be the ones you call more often. Right now with the cops, no matter what they do, they're not having any consequences, and they're only going to come as a cleanup after the fact. Like this idea that the cops are there to kind of stop anything. What's that joke about when the problem's here, the cops are minutes. When the murder's about to happen, the cops are minutes away.
Yeah.
Like that's not a valid, coherent system. So you have much more security, not less. But it'll be security that'll be accountable to people.
I agree with that, actually.
How could you not?
I would from an anarchist standpoint, who controls the licensing test might be a problem you run into.
Sure, but
it's a solvable problem.
I'm trying to get people bite by bite, because you can't get them all the way.
Yeah, but I mean, look, we've got enough. This is America.
Yes.
Right. So there's competent gunfighters like myself running around.
There are so many trained men, ex-military.
Thousands, yeah.
Right. Who would be great. Instead of them driving Uber, like it would be great if they're the ones who are like, hey, there's a problem.
Protecting schools, for example. Like that. A lot of people have said that. Like, why the fuck are we not just hiring veterans who've been in gunfights to sit and who love kids, by the way, All of them are like alpha dudes who want to be around kids and
Right.
protect them. That's like our core identity is protecting people.
And wouldn't it be great to have an example of like healthy masculinity in your school that you could actually
Around
ask
all those white liberal women.
that
Yeah.
you could actually ask him questions and be like, okay, what do I do with this problem? Like these would be great people to mentor kids.
Yeah, yeah. There's I mean, it's
And the kids would feel safe.
You remember the movie Cuffs? I'm sure. Right?
No, I've never heard of it.
With Christian Slater. It's
Cuffs?
Cuffs. Oh my God, you gotta. How have you not seen this? You
I've
gotta
never
go watch
heard of it.
You got to go watch it tonight. What are you doing tonight?
You know,
Go
I
home
just
and watch
watched
it.
because Dr. Drew told me to do. Did you see the Pee Wee Herman documentary?
Oh no, is that a thing?
It's 2 parts.
I
It's a
gotta-
masterpiece. It's just an absolute masterpiece. It's
I
so
gotta
good.
watch that. Where's it?
It's HBO, I think, or I streamed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, back to your point. This no accountability situation is a big problem, even at the higher levels. So, in business, I know a lot of startups that started out with a lot of money.
Yep.
And what you end up doing is spending your way out of problems you should, or spending your way out of lessons you should have learned.
That's right.
And you never do. And that problem persists in your business as it expands and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And all of a sudden you're fucked, right?
Sure.
That's government. That is exactly how government works. They don't actually solve anything. And sometimes it's incompetence. Like I believe in Hanlon's razor. I think a lot of it, or most of it, is incompetence. Some of it is that solve problems don't get out the vote, right?
I think problem is also you want the problems because then you get voters.
Yeah. I mean, like if we could have solved all of these, the healthcare stuff and the abortion issue and all this other stuff. Was actually Ruth Bader Ginsburg is very critical was very critical of Roe v. Wade because her position was, well, we were already, like all the states were already deciding on what we forced everybody to agree to.
Right.
Why? Like what right did the judiciary have to get involved in something that the states were already doing themselves?
They do have a right if it's coherent, but the Constitution is silent, and the 10th Amendment says what we don't talk about leads to states. So if you want to have California say a woman is someone who puts on a dress, fine. That's the case in California. In Texas, that's not the case. A woman is someone who doesn't understand how to politics and shouldn't be allowed to vote. That's our definition.
What do you think is the best economic system that represents the tenets of anarchism, which, personal responsibility?
Well, anarchism and freedom are synonymous.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think just like free market is saying something, right?
Yeah,
but,
that's right.
What like articulate that a little bit? Like what are the principles of an economy?
Oh,
as you
sure.
see it?
So it is where property is secured. Property rights are absolute. Sound money.
When you say, well, let me back up. When you say property rights are secured, by whom and to what degree?
Well, it's also the idea that they're understood and accepted.
Right.
Right, because there's some countries or cultures where it's just like they don't really have this kind of very hardcore view on property like you and I might
Are
have.
you against Hongung?
The what?
The Viking principle where I can fight you and take all your stuff if I win?
Yeah, I don't think that's a good one. I don't think it ends well. Do you think it does?
Not for anybody, no.
There's
always a bigger fish.
I think that sounds good on paper for like tough people. Then you think about it, it's like it's not because like that.
You got to sleep at some point. That boy's just going to cut your fucking head off.
Right, like it's funny because people tell me on Twitter like, oh, if there was anarchism, you'd be the first one to go. I'm like, you'd be second.
Yeah.
Like, do you really like? There's no scenario, Mr. Internet Tough Guy, where you're the leader of men. I assure you, because you would be the leader of men right now.
Yeah.
No, so
well, wait, but so back to the property right part. Sure. I think a fundamental of it is that it cannot be illegal to defend one's property in any way you see fit. If somebody's trying to come after your fucking
the cops.
shit, yeah, including anybody.
Castle Doctrine, yes.
Yep.
I love Castle Doctrine. The fact that for people who don't know, Castle Doctrine says if someone breaks down your door, including the SWAT, you have the right as someone you're secure in your castle to do whatever's necessary, including deadly force and retaliation. That's absolutely correct.
Yep.
So yeah, it's right. That's just a given. That's shocking to me when people don't agree with. One of the reasons I'm in Texas and not in Brooklyn, because as you said, I have cool shit in my house, and I'm a small guy, and if someone broke in my house and I did something about it, I'm going to jail, or they're going to sue me for shooting. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
And now I sleep with a gun under my bed, and I'm very, very happy.
Under your bed?
Yeah, right next to it.
Do you have like a stop box or something? You just leave it on the table?
It's under the dresser.
What kind of gun do you have?
It's a Masada.
What's that?
It's what the IDF uses.
Oh, okay. That's.
I got it. There's what's that guy's name? The black dude who's kind of a crazy person here in Austin.
The short dude, Michael Cargill.
Yeah.
The come and talk it guy.
Yeah. I got it from him.
Yeah, Michael's a good dude.
He's great.
He's the one that beat the bump stock.
That's
band,
right.
Actually,
I love it. So I'm like, I want to give this person my business and get my first.
You know,
stuff
Gary
from him.
used to produce that
That's right.
podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that or not. So what is, in addition to secure property rights, which implies the ability to defend it however one sees fit, what else?
That's right. I think that's pretty much it. And it's also.
I mean, everything does flow from that, in my opinion.
That's right. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. What about foreign policy?
What about it?
So let's say
I'm in favor. If I can't have anarchism, I think American foreign policy has to be far less interventionist. The fact that we have bases in like Germany and South Korea and Middle East is just really. If you care that much about veterans, as I know you and I both do, why are you sending them in harm's way unless it's absolutely necessary?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say. The United States has made a lot of mistakes.
Sure.
And we have to address those. And I'm not, from my perspective, like we've upset the balance in the Middle East quite a bit. Sure. Not that those people were doing the right thing anyways, but if we had left Iran alone back in the 50s, our problems there would be way less, in my opinion. Maybe more, but I think probably less.
Iran is a big one because in 1979 you had the Shah, who was kind of an authoritarian figure, but like people don't realize this. Andy Warhol would go there all the time, and in his diaries complain like there'd be less caviar. So this is how Western Iran was. Yeah. And then you
can look at the pictures. There's women on the beach in bikinis in 79.
And people have this leftist mindset like if something's bad, therefore it's the worst thing ever. So it's like, oh, he's so bad, he's so bad, so bad. It's like, careful what you wish for. Yeah. So there could always be someone much, much worse.
Same thing with Saddam Hussein. We never
sure.
should have fucked with that. I mean, same thing with Bashar al-Assad, in my opinion.
Sure.
Shouldn't have fucked with that either. Now we've got a literal ISIS guy, which Israel's bombing them today, I guess.
Are they bombing them today?
Damascus, yeah. They hit the presidential palace today.
Oh, Jesus
so we'll see how that goes. But I'm not keen on paying for the mistakes of my ancestors.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, I'll kill everybody that comes at me. I don't give a fuck who it is.
Right.
And I think that's the attitude we should have. And then, you know...
I like the idea that people are scared to fuck with Americans.
Yeah, that's a
really
good thing.
Big one.
Yeah. So here's the landscape as it is today. China is our number one foreign adversary, if you want to call them that. I mean, they are. They're trying to steal our shit. They're not a military threat to us in any meaningful way, but they steal a lot of our shit. They've tried to head off resources. They own about 65% of global rare earth mineral rights, shit like that. So certainly they're fucking around, but it's not like it's not a real existential threat unless we allow it to become one.
Sure.
But their proxies right now are Iran and its proxy Iraq, and its other proxies Hamas, Hezbollah, and Houthi.
Right.
And then Pakistan, Myanmar, all the Central Asian stands, and to some degree partnered with Russia. Although I think that relationship is not great. The question is, what should the United States do about that? And should we develop and maintain proxies of our own? I don't think that's a good idea personally, right? But should we develop or maintain proxies of our own? If nothing, are you comfortable in a world where China has all this going on? And where is the red line for you? If they develop these same kind of deals they have with Iran, with Mexico or Canada, does it become a problem then? Or at what point does it become a problem? I've always thought that regional hegemony is probably the best idea.
Sure.
Right? Like the Monroe Doctrine mostly.
Sure.
But I'm curious your thoughts on that.
I think it's very, very complex. I also think that we are living in Plato's cave when it comes to international stuff, that we only see a very small part of it. We don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know how much of this fight is for show. We don't know how much China hates us in China, or China just testing their limits and being like, all right, what can we get away with? We don't really care. I think America's greatest asset is American culture, and the fact that we're conquering the world not through force of arms, because people consume our products. And it's very, very hard to hate a country if you listen to their music and watch their shows and read their books. So I think that is the best way to have kind of colonialism, for lack of a better term.
It's social colonialism.
It's social colonialism, right.
It's what I refer to as American soft power, right?
But it's the best.
It's by far the best.
It works. You see it in South Korea. You see it in Europe. You see it in many other places, and that's something I'm a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Hollywood per se, especially in recent years. But in terms of it being an engine of American exceptionalism and world domination, I'm a fan of it in that regard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think red lines are very contextual. It's really easy to set. Chamberlain gets a really bad rap because after World War I happens and like half of Europe, the entire youth population is murdered for no reason, all the men, you can't blame him for being like, you know what, I'm just going to cut a deal because we're not doing this shit again.
Yeah.
We're exhausted. So it's for us to go to any kind of war with China. I mean, it's got to take a lot, I think.
There's not going to be any war with. They don't want this.
I don't think they want the heat either.
They definitely don't. They can't. We would decimate that country in a matter of weeks.
Do you think so?
Yes.
But they have nukes.
They don't have the kind of power required to hit us.
Okay. China can't hit us?
I mean, theoretically they could, but it would end their country forever.
Okay.
They would be gone. Dave Smith, back when he was arguing against striking Iran, kept saying that Iran had escalatory dominance in the region. That is retarded.
What does that mean, escalatory?
Escalatory dominance means that they can escalate to a level that we won't escalate to in that region. Which is to say, I believe his point was to say that they would hit our bases. Same thing Tucker said, that 70,000 troops would get killed on our bases over there, which is nonsense, right?
Okay.
But
why is it nonsense?
Because they, while are rightly called a death cult, right? The leaders of the cult are never the ones that die.
Right, that's
you
right.
Understand? Like that. So the leaders of the cult are like, they're not going to fucking do that stuff and get smoked. This is not going to happen.
Right.
They live to fight another day. That's the whole thing. It's the 1,000-year war. They live to fight another day.
Right.
So this is just basic logic. Anybody that understands the history, even of the Ottoman Empire, before these guys, just the ideology that carries with this stuff, knew that was going to be stupid. Well, China thinks the same way. They think in terms, they have dictators for 30, 40 years. They don't have presidents for 4 years.
Sure.
They think in long term. So for them, attempting and failing, attempting and accomplishing a little bit, attempting and failing is perfectly acceptable.
That's right, yeah.
Whereas for us, it's not.
Right.
If you're the president of the United States and you ran on X, not on Twitter, but on X policy,
right,
and you don't accomplish it, then you're a failure.
Right, sure.
But that's stupid because things take longer than 4 years almost always, right? So, another problem with the U.S. government, but American soft power is something that never ceases. It's not an operation. It is a tone. It's an ideology, right, that carries into the future.
You know what? It could be a bit. I mean, we don't know how much CIA. I'm not even kidding. CIA involvement is with that stuff.
Yeah. Mockingbird.
Sure,
You're familiar with. I mean, that never stopped.
Sure, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's CIA involvement in creating programs for export.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
100%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's that.
No, because you rolled your eyes.
No. I mean, I thought everybody just assumed that was the case.
Oh, you rolled your eyes for that.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, that's they're definitely doing that.
And I don't think that's necessarily wrong for them to do that.
No, as a matter of fact, if we're going to give money to USAID, that should be what it's spent on, right? Like warning everybody else, basically. Yeah. Not just so warning the shitheads and encouraging the good people. That's
right. Just like, that should be our policy with Iran.
Yeah.
There's a huge underground there, from my understanding.
I agree. So here's something that might make you angry. In 2008 to 10, our Department of Energy, some of my friends were working there at the time at the policy level and at the security level, like NEST teams, people that are experts in energy security specifically, right? They came up with this plan to give Iran all the 3 to 5% uranium they wanted. We operate this. You guys don't get to have centrifuges. We'll do all this for you. We're going to give you this uranium. We're going to help you build your reactors. You're going to have energy for everybody. No brownouts or blackouts ever again, right? And in exchange, no centrifuges, no enrichment, and you're going to give us a deep discount on your oil, just like they do to China right now. And instead, Obama signed this fucking JICPOA deal with them and gave them $150 billion, which they almost immediately gave to Hamas and Hezbollah. Right. But we could have solved this problem 15 years ago. This would not have been a problem anymore. Iran would probably be an ally. So think about the trajectory of Saudi Arabia, whose royal family helped conduct 9/11, to our relationship with them now, where they just invested $600 billion in our economy.
Right? And they're on the verge of having diplomatic relations with Israel.
Yeah. I mean, they essentially do now. They're both signatories
right, yes,
to
yes.
the Abraham Accords now. So it's like, we can do this stuff, and that didn't require a war.
That's right.
That's one of the. I still don't understand how. I guess he's being nominated now, but if any president in my lifetime has actually deserved a nomination for or winning the Nobel Peace Prize, it's got to be Trump.
I thought you were going to say W.
Yeah.
It's got to be Trump.
I mean, Obama got it for being black, which I
Right.
understand.
No, but the Abraham Accords is just one example.
Just the one, yeah.
Right.
But we can do this. We can. There's a path with Iran, and I think they're trying. This is the deal they're trying to get done now, from my understanding with the people I know in the Trump admin. They're trying to go back to that, like, hey, remember that?
I think
we can do that.
I think there's a big idea in social media, and I could be wrong. People want everything to be a disaster, and massive conflict can escalate and could lead to World War III, which we apparently we just won, because that was the fastest world war we've ever had. But also massive conflict can lead to people being like, fuck this shit, we got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Like it's like the big fight that leads to a breakup. It's like, all right, we can't have this relationship anymore. How are we going to move forward? Like, neither of us are going to like it, we can live with it. So I am hopeful that something like this happened, like that big obviously brouhaha between Israel and Iran. I am hopeful that there is a path forward where it could be like, fuck this shit. But they're in a bad position, Iran, because they're like the leaders of the anti-Israel thing. So it's just like, for them to lose that clout and that position, it's just like, do they want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point. So maybe part of our soft power policy should be to give them something else to focus on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, Iran's now the number one exporter of this, or they're
Sure.
doing this. Look at this thing.
Or
they
go
did,
fight Syria,
Yeah,
or start Saudi Arabia or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how it all turns out.
I'm just curious how this Gaza situation is going to end. How does it end? I have never heard anyone articulate a coherent ending.
Well, France, the judiciary in France just let everybody in Gaza apply for asylum.
You're lying.
France. Nope. That happened on Monday.
No.
Yep.
Everyone?
Anybody that is a Palestinian citizen living in Gaza is now eligible to apply for asylum in France.
Permanent asylum?
That's what it says.
Well, you know what happened with Britain and Afghanistan, right?
You mean the Palestinian mandate?
No.
Oh, Britain and Afghanistan. No. What happened there?
I get to tell you this?
Yeah.
For years now, because there's some kind of clerical error and people were outed, they let in 10,000 Afghans into the UK secretly, and they're also legally allowed to bring their whole families.
Oh my God.
And it cost them, I think, £7 billion or something. Look this up. Can you look it up for people so we get the exact numbers? You probably want to talk with us on Drinking Bros too. So they're bringing over like 100,000 Afghans into Britain.
Oh my God.
It's an insane number.
Yeah, it's on AP. 19,000
for now.
For now. But this is the way it works in the United States too. Once
yeah, but the United States has 10 times the population that Britain does.
Sure, but the process works the same. So
that's right, yeah.
If you're a parent or grandparent, you become a citizen, you can start sponsoring people.
That's right.
Now, right?
Yeah.
And if it's somebody that's under 18, it's immediate.
Yeah.
You just immediately bring them over. It's called an N600 in immigration. You can immediately fill that out. 19,000 already. Actually, I'm sorry, 36,000.
Yeah.
36,000 have been moved over. Motherfucker. Well, good luck with that.
My friend was like, I thought Great Britain couldn't get worse, and we reached the basement, and he's like, then I read this. But the thing, it's 30. These are people who have no skills. Mm-hmm. They live in primitive conditions. Even if they're angels, what are you going to do with them?
Well, they're not going to be because they have low IQs.
No, but let's suppose, fine. The point is, but let's steelman this.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with 36,000 people who don't speak English, who have no skills, in an urban environment?
Welfare.
Right. That's the best case scenario is they're all on welfare.
Well, even in that best case scenario is they're all on welfare, and then people that have whatever urge to do better but have no skills to will create a parallel economy. That's how organized crime typically happens with new generations. Right. This is 19. Let's see, 20 Palestinian protected by UN. Yeah. So if essentially, if somebody can make the case to French immigration that the UN has not done its due diligence in protecting them in Gaza, they can now apply for asylum in France.
You know what? I got to give the French credit for putting the money where their mouth is.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be wild,
right?
Full fucking retard.
Because instead of bitching like to Israel, it's like figure this out. Israel's like, we can't live with these people. They're like, you know what? If you can't live with them, we'll take them in. It's like, okay, you're actually doing the work.
Yeah, why not? You know, I mean, I'm
why
not? I'm not going to France. not under those conditions, which
Jesus.
is unfortunate. I don't think it's going to be great for them. Probably, it hasn't been great for us. Like these, this idea that it's one of those phrases that got said over and over and over again until people just kind of accepted it and used it tautologically as an explanation for itself. Multiculturalism is our strength. No, it's not. No. The fuck are you talking about?
Makes no sense.
That is, and look. 10 years ago, I may have said some dumb shit like that, just as a cursory, like, oh yeah, of course we want the best of all worlds, right? Like the underlying principle is, yeah, if somebody's great enough to participate in this experiment that we're doing,
sure,
fucking bring them in, dude, because that's helped us quite a bit over the years. But that's not what they're saying.
But it's also
what they're saying is like, open the door.
What % of Americans are great?
Fucking
right?
5.
Right. So
probably
fine.
less so for the rest of the world.
So what are the 5% of people? The people. And here's the thing: if you view Gaza as this open air prison, as people say, those 5% who are great are going to be in Hamas. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah. That's the peak achievement for that area, right? Yeah.
That's the high status, high accomplished area.
Yeah. But this idea that you can so the price for admission was assimilation.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
No matter what, like you come over here with your idea, you can make $1 million, you can make $1 billion maybe with your idea, but you've got to live. You have to be American. That's the point.
If he ends birthright citizenship,
that'd be awesome.
Would really undo a lot of this damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it could make it retroactive, but it would stop what's happening with these 20 million
put
legals
a pause.
now. Yeah. That's something that's like. And I have friends that were in the military with me. They were not citizens at the time. Okay. They served in the military to become citizens.
Sure,
and one of them, I went to his fucking swearing in ceremony. I was like, fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, good. Hell yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Earn it. Like Tom Hanks said in Saving Private Ryan.
Or don't earn and don't become a citizen. You pay your taxes, you do your job, whatever, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But it's just like you don't get to vote. Great.
Well, we're not doing so. Again, the government shouldn't be in charge of any of this shit. But I guess if the federal government does exist for any reason, it is certainly to protect the border. Sure. If it does have any legitimate thing to do, it's just that.
But the other thing is, when you're bringing people in, all of a sudden, I'm paying for everything for them.
Yeah. So where's the net benefit from that? People say like, I don't know that indentured servitude is such a bad thing. Right? Like you should have to earn your way. If I'm going to have to support you for the first couple years, then you need to fucking pay me back. That's right.
Well, indentured servitude, my plan by Canada.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's more straight up slavery.
Yes, that is my plan.
And to be fair, Canadians deserve it. They've had it coming for a long time.
And they would be happier.
They would, yeah. They've spent zero time thinking for themselves.
Yes.
So why even...
That's right.
Why? It's like if you give your kid a nice toy and he's playing with the box, put the toy back in the closet. Right. You know what I mean? Fuck him. But I think I don't even know. I don't think that's even an extreme viewpoint.
It's not.
You should have to earn your. If you're not from here, and look, that's not fair. But life's not fair. You were born over there. You want to come participate here, then you have to earn your way in.
I wasn't born here. There's a lot of things that I don't think it's reasonable that I have the same rights as you.
I don't. I don't know what the cutoff would be, to be honest. With the Russians, they ran the alien program for a long time. You're probably a fucking spy, for all I know. But,
probably.
Yeah. Well, look, I only the Sith deal in absolutes. But yeah, like I don't think. What was it? Tucker the other day said some stuff, and people gave him a lot of heat for it. That people that weren't born here shouldn't be participating in our government. I don't know that that's an extreme position.
Well, Hamilton wasn't born here, so that's my counterexample.
But he only served in appointed positions. He was never elected to anything.
Sure, but I mean, I don't know I think if you look at the people in Washington, the people who were born here aren't doing so hot either.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, right? I guess, how do you ever know, right?
Sure.
Because I think that the concern or suspicion that people have is that will become the Eastern Roman Empire, where the Germanic hordes come in and do all the jobs that nobody wants to do, and then they start serving in government because nobody else wants to, and now it's now they're the Byzantines. You know what I mean?
don't think that's a absurd fear, but I would point out that when America was far more homogenous, you had FDR and Woodrow Wilson, and they would never be able to pull off their shit today. So it's one factor, but I don't think it's the entire factor. And I wish there was a way to be like, if we just narrow the vote, if we just, for example, abolish suffrage, you know. But if you look at the 1910s, Teddy Roosevelt, I mean, this is crazy shit they were pulling.
Yeah. Even after with the bull moose stuff that they were trying to pull.
Yeah,
I mean,
like under Woodrow Wilson, the income tax was like 90% or something. It was crazy, and that was before women could vote.
Yeah, it's interesting. Is there a right to vote?
No. Do you think there's a right to vote?
I don't think democracy is a very good solution.
Democracy is something that is so absurd.
Even in a representative republic, I don't think democracy is the best way to sort it out, to be honest.
Democracy is so absurd. The only reason we even consider it as a hypothesis is we've been propagandized to it since we were kids. Every state has 2 senators, right? If my state has 1 blue senator, 1 red senator, which one's representing me? What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
And how is it that if I'm a House member and I'm representing 400,000 people, whatever number it is, I'm only representing some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to disagree with me.
I mean, democracy is 51% of people telling 49% of people what they have to do.
And I don't know that 80-20 is even better.
No. I mean, what would be the difference? Even if it was 99-1, if you actually believe in individual liberty.
Right. 80-20
those
is
two
Jim
things
Crow.
seem incongruous to me. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's Jim Crow.
Is that what you want?
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. We've romanticized democracy in such a way, even like people. Yeah, what the broader American culture has. Even when the left says our democracy on repeat, the response from the right is that we're a republic, not a democracy. Not that democracy is bullshit.
Right.
Which is what the response should be.
Right.
Right. But people seem to think that that's an extreme position. I would encourage folks to make a list of the things that you actually believe in, the underlying principles, right? And write it down. And if you can think of something that thing is sitting on top of, scratch it out and write that thing down.
I think that's a great way.
Go as far down as you possibly can and make that list of things. And anything that's incongruous with those things, you shouldn't believe.
That's right. I agree with you.
What we take these things,
but people don't know how to think like that.
Certainly we need to. If you're out there and you've never read The Organon by Aristotle, please read it. Just how logic works. Forget about any particular point.
But
just how the process of logic works. Well, most people probably can.
Right. People don't even know the difference between want and prefer. Like if I asked you, do you want cancer? No. Would you prefer melanoma or pancreatic? It's melanoma.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, I don't want melanoma. It's like they can't wrap their heads around one iteration.
Yeah. Hopefully a couple of people or a critical mass of people will pay attention, because I think a lot of people that are capable of it don't do it now.
That's fair. That's indisputably true.
So what do you do about that?
You do what we do, which is run our mouths, and hopefully you activate enough brains.
Yeah, we'll see.
And also, you know what? Someone on Twitter had this great line. I wish I could give the guy credit for who it was. He goes, "The most important vote is how you live your life." What a great line. I agree with that 10,000%. Defiance of all mathematics.
Capping off anarchism. Do you engage in electoral politics at all, even at a tactical level, like trying to influence it?
Yes, I gave money to Fetterman because I wanted him.
You're just a big stroke guy?
Yeah, I wanted him in the Senate because my hope was that one day he would go full Hulk and start decapitating people.
Yeah.
And I donated money to Biden in the primary because I wanted him to be the nominee. And I got great ROI on both of those.
Yeah, certainly.
But I don't vote.
My buddy took a lot of heat back in the day for donating money to Tulsi Gabbard when she was still a Democrat.
Okay.
And the reason is because he saw an interview with her lighting Kamala Harris on fire about all of her stuff. And people were like, "Oh, you're a liberal now." He goes, "No, I wanted to see Tulsi Gabbard on that stage with her light her ass up." And she ended Kamala Harris's
Do you know
chances.
my tweet was? If there's one thing Hawaiians know, it's how to roast a pig.
That is accurate.
So I'm going to bring a point with this as well, just as how duplicitous and malevolent our political system or media is. After Officer Harris got driven out of the race by, they call her Mommy Milky on the internet, by Mommy Tulsi, there were a bunch of articles that an autopsy on Kamala's campaign. I think there were 10. Not one, they all had lists. This, not one mentioned Tulsi. So if there was one article, I can understand, okay, the guy overlooked it. There was a media coordination to not acknowledge that Tulsi Gabbard ended her campaign, even though we all saw it in front of our own eyes on national television.
What do you think the lesson is from that?
It's like Noam Chomsky's idea of manufactured consent is there's a huge percentage of the population, and I think it's the majority, and I think it's always a majority, who are going to have their worldview fed into them by the people on the screens.
This is...
And they have no problem being brazen and dishonest.
This is going to be subjective, I guess, to some degree, but I'm curious your thoughts on it. From the political establishment, media, and to some degree the lobbying and business establishment, do you think there's a coordinated effort towards messaging, or is it just retards following retards? Because people...
I don't think it's coordinated.
People will see on Twitter, like, oh, everybody's saying the same thing. I'm like, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Twitter's different because when they're saying the same thing, they're saying the same thing verbatim.
Yeah, sometimes.
So when it's verbatim, it's got to be coordinated, right?
Yeah.
Because the copy paste, someone got an email. But in the same way that if you and I go to McDonald's in Seattle or we go to McDonald's in Miami, it's the same menu. Maybe there's a regional variation. That's not a conspiracy. It's just, okay, I know what to do in my McDonald's, so on and so forth. So if you have a population of kids who go to journalism schools and those journalism schools all have the same hard left ideology, once they're at their desk, they're going to know what to do without having anyone call them up and tell them what to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's, I don't know if
there's not some big bad puppet master that if you just shoot him, if you killed George Soros right now, it wouldn't overnight be like, okay, we're in utopia. People want this head vampire. They thought this with Trump. We take out Trump, everything's going to go back to normal. Like, he was in the White House for 4 years and it didn't go back to normal like he wanted.
Yeah. And it's not, there's no normal to go back to.
That's right.
Right. I mean, it's like, I've don't know how many more times I can tell people this, but you've got to stop looking for heroes.
That's right. Amen.
And be one, right?
That's right.
In your own life for your family. And then maybe you get successful enough where you can spread that more, right? But if you don't start there, then that doesn't work. The lowest form of government is the family, right?
Well, the individual, the self. Like, if you be someone, you can be proud to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And when you
first thing you should master is yourself. That's what I say.
And also, when you do the wrong thing, which you will sometimes, make amends. Fix it. Don't just say, I'm sorry. Take steps to make restitution.
Yeah, repair,
Yeah, and then you'll feel better. Be like, you know what? I did the wrong thing, but I'm someone who made it right at the end.
Yeah. I think that's something that in life, you can control your attitude and your effort.
That's right.
And that's pretty much it. All these other circumstances, like you don't get to choose the government you live in.
That's right.
Voting is fucking stupid.
Right.
It's, I mean, honestly.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Because sometimes my autism flares up. I had a Twitter question, and I don't understand this. I asked people, would you rather I vote for your candidate in like a red state if it's a red candidate, or donate money to them? And a large part of people chose the former. And I don't understand their mindset.
Because they don't understand force multiplication.
You're right. It's just that stupid.
Yeah. Like, even...
Holy shit, you're right. It's hard for me. It's hard to downgrade your brain to think like a super person.
That's it. It's so. Here's a good example. Google ad search. I can spend somewhere between 1 and 3 cents for my ad to hit if you search for a certain key phrase. Sure. Typically, that's about the rate, 1 to 3 cents, which means instead of me casting one vote, I can now influence somewhere between 100 and 30 people. Right.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just math.
Right, but
that's what a force multiplier is.
Right, but
so money goes way farther.
Right, and since the state's not in play, like my vote has no utility.
Right.
So that's why I couldn't understand why they would want me to vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, certainly voting is stupid. Anyways, but
okay, yeah.
even if you took it seriously and thought it mattered, the force multiplier is always better than the individual. Of course. Like what's better? In terms of I know this won't make sense to you, but my audience, it will. Operationally speaking, one special forces operator or the local national platoon that he has trained along with him. Obviously, the one is better. That's the whole purpose of special forces, is to train local nationals and create force multipliers.
Right. Do you know anyone in SEAL Team 6?
Currently?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
I'll ask you off air.
Okay. Yeah. I know a bunch of people that are. Actually, I just had the guy that I interviewed on Monday that sat in that chair right there is a former DevGru guy.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So you can take the chair with you, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I'm stuck to it now.
If you had to live under any government throughout all of history, which one would it be?
Well, it would clearly be this one. And now,
Not even like the original Athenian governments where it was like,
they don't have air conditioning.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, but forget about that.
How do you forget about that?
Let's say they had AC and fucking video games
But
and all the shoes you want.
I mean, all the shoes.
Yeah, all the weird shoes that you want to buy. Have it all. Just the government.
It's hard for me to wrap my head around the question then, because I think there's lots of governments that have been pretty innocuous throughout history, but at the same time, do I want to live there and then? But if I'm living there and then with what I have now, I think the question kind of comes circular, right?
Maybe.
I think we're living in.
You mean like it's like the stuff that we have is a result of some of this?
Sure, maybe, and also
yeah.
the stuff that we have is more important than what kind of government we have. I'd rather live, now in like maybe not North Korea, but in a pretty authoritarian state than in like 1910 in America.
Yeah, fuck
right?
that.
Right,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So it's a tough. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What about this is the last question? Is there such a thing as a good citizen?
Of course. What do you mean?
What was a good citizen then?
Someone who is a great example to his community.
And what would you say makes somebody a great example?
Someone who is honest, trustworthy, reliable, and makes all any of us can do is leave the world a little bit a better place than we found it. And I think that has something that everyone has the power to be.
Yeah.
And if you do that when you meet your maker, you could pat yourself on the back and say, I did what I could with what I had.
I think that's the group that Mr. Rogers used to call the helpers, right?
Sure.
Like they're always around. And Marcus Aurelius once said, "Stop talking about what makes a good man and be one." Right? I think that's the best advice.
It is,
and we do talk a lot about it here, but I think it's something to contemplate and then act on.
And you can start today.
Yeah, you don't want to be an academic when it comes to this.
Don't
stuff.
say I'm going to join the gym tomorrow because yesterday you said tomorrow.
Yeah, it's good advice. I think that. I don't know if I would say you have a responsibility to anybody but yourself and your family, but you can be an architect of the type of world you want to live in, and we get to choose. We get to choose who are. I know I said don't look for heroes, but nobody's coming to save you. We get to choose who we admire.
So
right?
One of my favorite thinkers is Albert Camus, who's the French absurdist, and his idea is that life is meaningless, and for him this means we're enormously free. And if you think about it, if you go up to some mountaintop and someone has an easel with some paint and a paintbrush, and there's two kinds of people, why the fuck is this easel up here? Or, which is my view, and I think your view, what a great opportunity. I can paint whatever I want. I can create something beautiful, I can create this river, me, myself, God, something abstract. That is the gift of life we've all been given. You can be the kind of person you want to be within limits. Certainly morally you can, maybe not professionally. And that is a great gift, and don't spit in it in the face.
Yeah.
And if you're wasting your time all day playing video games and jerking off, that's exactly what you're doing, and you could stop right now. I meant you, Dan. Stop.
Yeah, I'll never stop. I think Bertrand Russell touched on that a little bit too.
Does he?
Like the freedom that comes with not being concerned about what comes next.
That's right.
It's like you've got this life, live it how. Like what gives it meaning is the fact that it ends.
That's
you know
that's
I mean?
yes.
So it's like. Get busy living or get busy dying. I think Clint Eastwood may have said that at some point.
And if you're confused with what to do, imagine that you're 80 years old or whatever on your deathbed, and you're looking back to this moment. Make the decision that guy would be proud of.
Yeah, I don't think people regret things they did. I think they mostly regret things they did not do.
Do you know what the most common thing people say when they're in their 80s? I wish I didn't worry so much.
Well. That's good advice.
It is good advice, especially in America. Calm down.
Yeah, I don't get the regret is the thing that doesn't make sense to me. Like, just fix it. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, I understand why it happens, but I think regret is like present tense anxiety about past tense events.
I think regret is good in this context. If you're the kind of person who doesn't shoot for the hoop or doesn't take those opportunities. Like, man, I should have done it. Yes. So the next time it happens, shoot for it, and you're going to miss a lot of the time, and that's okay. Yeah. But you're going to regret missing, trying.
It's only functional though if it turns to action, which
that's
is the
correct.
case for most things.
For everything,
right? Yeah. So you've got a book.
Sure.
A number of them. Promote some of your books.
I like that. My favorite part of that was the hand wave.
just
promote some of your books.
I have all of them, but go
Do
ahead.
you?
Yeah.
Do you have Ego and Hubris?
No, I don't have that one. Is
So
that on
you're
Amazon?
a liar.
Yeah, I guess I am.
You're a fucking. In 2006, Harvey Pekar wrote a book about me. It's a graphic novel called Ego and Hubris.
Oh no, I've never even heard of that.
Oh yeah,
what's Ego and Hubris?
It's quite expensive now. I think it's gotten down in price because I'm a loser now.
Harvey
But I think it's like
Pekar.
$200. Ego and Hubris, the Michael Malice story. So that's the
there
one.
You go. Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Yeah, it's the most
Oh,
expensive.
it's $118. That's not bad.
Oh, that's not that
Buy
bad.
that right now. You're not getting any money from this.
I'm not. Neither's Harvey. He's dead.
Yeah, well,
he died on my birthday. That wasn't fun.
That does suck. Although, something to look into maybe.
So did Hamilton.
What are the other books? So you had a book about
Trump's book is called Not Sick of Winning. NotSickOfWinning.com. The Anarchist Handbook. The New Right. Dear Reader about North Korea, and The White Pill.
The White Pill, the Tale of Good and Evil. Your favorite one's The White Pill?
Yes.
Why is that your favorite?
Because that's the one that was the hardest for me to do, the most I put into. It's still tough for me to even read because it's so intense and emotional.
Why? What do you mean?
I mean, what was done to the people in Eastern Europe for decades and the atrocities. It's just, and while at the same time in the West, all the influencers saying this is great, and if you're opposed to this, you know what you're talking about, and how much of that resonates to today. And coming from there, knowing this is what my family, everyone over there experienced, it's a lot.
Yeah. And Dear Reader is where you went to North Korea.
That's right. It's about North Korea.
It's really funny.
I met Kim Jong-un's translator when I was in New York last week.
Last week?
Yeah.
What's he doing here?
The translator? He's American.
Oh.
The guy translating from Dennis Rodman to
Oh,
Korean.
I see. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was fascinating.
Yeah. Was he there with Trump too?
No, he was not.
Can you imagine just that conversation?
I can imagine very easily, don't you think?
I think that Kim Jong-un is probably quite a bit beta, to be honest.
No, Kim Jong-un?
Compared to
Trump. Yes, also because he's a lot younger.
Yeah.
He's like 30 and Trump's 70. So in Eastern Europe, East Asia, that's a huge deal.
Huge. Like people in the U.S. don't understand the difference there. So Xi and Trump, that's equal to me. Not capability-wise necessarily, but like
peers.
Yeah, they're peers. I always wondered what it would, like the tension that would have been present there, especially in a culture like North Korea that actively engages in ancestor worship. So it's not even just like Japan or one of these other countries that certainly respect older people more as a function, but the head of the military is still his father and the president is still his grandfather.
That's right.
So it's like they take it fucking seriously over there.
Oh, sure. And you have to have the pictures on the wall.
Yeah. So seeing a statesman like Trump, who's 40 years older than you and also authoritative, you're like, oh shit, that must have been a very interesting conversation.
But according to the translator, my understanding is everyone this is very healthy because this is what brought down the Soviet Union. Everyone in North Korea now knows it's all bullshit.
The whole story?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if they know it's bullshit, that's the last step before things become normal.
Well, we've been secretly dropping pamphlets for years.
And memory sticks.
Yeah, and then we started with memory sticks, and then we have their satellites and devices.
Yeah.
Right. That are literally get brought in by drones and shit like that, and dropped into villages in southern North Korea, with basically like a little documentary on it, which is quite a bit better than what we did in the Eastern Bloc states back in the day, in the stands especially. I promise you I'm not making this up. The Air Force and CIA were dropping leaflets with extra large Magnum condoms taped to them saying that this is what American dicks are like.
No, you're lying.
I swear to God. One of my
what's the point?
One of my college professors, I don't know, they thought they were going to turn the women against the Russians or something. I don't know.
That's how you turn gay men against other
Eastern European men are pretty gay, to be fair.
Yeah,
right?
but
not literally.
It's not going to affect women. Aren't like, I don't think there's a correlation.
I'm not saying it was smart. I'm just saying it happened. One of my buddies, one of my professors was an Air Force intelligence guy. He was like, yeah, we did all kinds of stupid shit.
Holy fuck.
And they had some aircraft that flew around that had satellite on it, radio. Mostly they were broadcasting radio in there. I mean, just like, that's normal.
Sure.
Duct taping condoms to leaflets, not so normal.
Holy shit.
But, we do a lot of dumb shit.
You could have.
And you paid for that, too.
You could have just drawn a dick. You didn't. The condom's not really gonna.
Like the Romans, just just a big one.
Fuck.
All right, well, tell everybody. We got to get out of here and do the other show. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Find me on X at Michael Malice, Michael Malice Official on Instagram and on YouTube.
And areyoutiredofwinning.com.
Not sick of winning.com.
Not sick of winning.com.
Yes.
Something like that.
It's fine.
They'll find it.
You'll find it.
Just search for Michael Malice. Thank you for coming today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, folks.
See you in hell.
Ah.